Yo, what is up? This is another anime review. So yeah, we're at the spring season, week 11, so almost finished up. Got a lot of finales this week, which is cool. Some wrap-ups. No Apothecary Diary episode, sadly, but we have some shows to talk about, some that I enjoyed this week. Some shows still have like 1 or 2 episodes left remaining. But yeah, besides that, what a fun week. Great finales. Fire Force, huge reveal. Witch Watch, a wholesome wrap-up to the first core, which is nice. Windbreaker, they're setting up some evil people to be Hero X. I think it's gonna have 24 episodes, hopefully. Because yeah, we're continuing following Queen and Cyan, so that's cool. And yeah, Shoshimin finished up. Very nice explanations there. Gundam GQuuuuuX insane. To also talk about that, and some other shows continue. Summer Pockets, My Hero Vigilantes. So I'm talking about a lot of shows that I watched this week, mostly the finales. So yeah, starting off with Witch Watch. So we have episode 12, not the finale because it's gonna have 24 episodes, which is like, well worth it. Because this first half was like Nico in school, and then we just meet like a new character every other episode that slowly gets added to the house. So yeah, that does mean that Keigo, he's actually like a good person. He was forgiven for his crime of betraying the squad, almost trying to kill Nico, because yeah, I mean, he was being used. Like, you can't really say no to the warlock. But yeah, we see basically a big fight scene with him and Morihito. This fight wasn't that great, honestly. I think none of the fights this episode really like were that entertaining. I think like something with the pacing for this last episode, it doesn't really ruin the show, because yeah, the comedy is top tier, character moments are wholesome. But yeah, this is something where like even though there's some action in this show, it's not really that memorable. But basically a big fight with Morihito and Wolf, just like kind of swinging, flying around. We see Morihito, he's kind of like a calm, calculated ogre, but that makes his punches and strikes very like easy to predict, while Wolf is just like flying around scratching Morihito. So yeah, I mean, they're going back and forth. We see Nico and Khan are also trying to take care of the warlock because they're just by themselves, so they actually like defeat it pretty easily. They use like some of Nico's old spells, so the invisible one that makes people not detect your presence, and also a spell that makes you make little clones of yourself. So they do that to kind of catch the warlock off guard. They detect where it is and they're able to dispatch it. We see that warlock's actually possessing a dude, and it's like a really tiny person. So yeah, she's actually like a witch that got corrupted, and she's not really the final boss, but we get her backstory. So some nice, funny, sappy shonen backstories this episode, which was also like pretty emotional. So basically, she wanted to become a powerful witch, but she can never really reach her potential. So yeah, the warlock kind of corrupted her when she was older, and yeah, her mission is to kill Nico. And also, yeah, she got really small as a sacrifice for the power. But basically, she has Keigo as her familiar, and if she dies, then Keigo dies. So they have to kind of keep her alive, because we can't really kill people in this anime. So basically, after they defeat the warlock, Nemu also wakes up, and all three of them go into the magic portal. And basically, after a long fight, Morihito starts locking in. He's like, I'm gonna do some like new ogre techniques, kind of like traps him with a barrage of fists and basically knocks out Keigo. So that's cool. He's alive. We see the warlock gets killed, actually. So someone sapped the warlock's power, which also frees Keigo. Also, at the same time, they're setting up another stronger villain that's targeting Nico's life. So yeah, all of that's happening. But yeah, we resolved this arc so far. So it kind of feels like the classic slice of life journey where you have like, people hanging out in school being happy, but there's just kind of like a high stakes arc happening towards the end. So yeah, we resolved it here. Hopefully we get back to school adventures maybe next week. But yeah, besides that, Keigo also joins the squad. We see that he wanted this elixir to actually save his mom, because he didn't really care about ice skating anymore. He wanted to quit anyway. But his mom was also in the car crash she was driving, and she's disabled. So yeah, she's in a wheelchair. It's actually pretty emotional when we saw her, even though, yeah, again, a bit sappy. Wait, Nico actually gives up her like magic, like one-time use healing potion. So that's actually kind of like a big deal, I guess. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite her. But yeah, basically she gives it to Keigo's mom, and huge emotional scene where she's able to walk again, which is very nice. So yeah, great storytelling, just like fun. Everything kind of ties into other stuff. Just like a feel-good adventure. So yeah, they also hang out at the bathhouse. Yeah, Keigo's mom, since she can walk again, she decides to go overseas for her job. Like, Keigo moves into Morihito's house. Yeah, one more member there. We got 4 people so far. Nemu also showing up. Maybe we'll get more high school adventures, more wacky spells with everybody, and then maybe there's more serious fights also coming up in the future. So yeah, that's cool for Witch Watch. So yeah, we'll see what they got in store for us in the summer season. After that, there's another crazy show I want to talk about. So yeah, Fire Force season 3, episode 12. This is the finale for this like first half of season 3. Second half is gonna be in the winter, so we gotta wait maybe 6 months. Unfortunate, but we waited this long for season 3. I'm kind of down for waiting more, because I did like it. I know some people were a bit negative on the adaptation. Maybe they thought it was like kind of weaker than the other seasons, which is understandable. Season 2 and 1 were just like when some of the best action and sound design David Productions has like released. Season 3 kind of like started off a bit slow with the Burns fight, because action was a bit wonky. Also, the setup was kind of out of nowhere, where like Lieutenant Obi got captured, but didn't really feel like the stakes were that high, because it was like kind of comedic. But anyway, like the Burns fight was a bit whatever, but then all the other fights after that were nice. Seeing Benny Maru again, he's always welcome here. He's so powerful. Moonlight Common. Arthur versus Dragon was a bit sick, and they might have like a revenge match coming up because Arthur did get like a whole ass like Excalibur Orichalcum power up. Also after that, this final kaiju battle we had was a bit whatever. Like Shinra literally got blasted by Juggernaut for some reason, and then we see Sho fighting this guy Fairy as well. So the fights are continuing as the evangelists are kind of like setting up their plan. It looks like their plan revolves these pillars that are like coming up from the earth, and there's 8 of them, so there's only 1 so far. But basically after like the kaiju gets defeated, we see the Ashen guy kind of like destroying him easily, and all the other evangelists kind of going away. We see Shinra gets like an Adela link, so he's in the Adela world again. And then here he's actually with Inca. It's kind of like cute seeing them together, but also Inca's like a huge psycho bitch. But yeah, anyway, she kind of piggyback rides on Shinra, and then they go back in time because Shinra can like time travel. I don't know what prompted this, but I mean, like we end the episode with kind of like some trippy shit. They turn to particles, and then they see like actual like Japanese people in Tokyo. They're not anime style, so it's kind of meta here. Like Shinra is a drawing, I guess. He realizes this. We see him sleeping, and then there's like a 3-month time skip or a 5-month time skip. There's like a huge time skip, and then Shinra's hair turns blonde. So yeah, what has my man been doing? What's happening to the world? Because I thought people were fighting, but apparently the world isn't over yet, but just more pillars keep rising. So I guess we still have to wait for the 8th pillar to rise, but then after that, shit's gonna happen. So we have to wait for the 2nd core. But I love season 3. I read the entire story, so yeah, the story's like great. So I really love this season anyway. I had to admit it was weaker than the other seasons, but the comedy is there, action is there. Hopefully core 2 kind of like wraps everything up, because if it does, it will be insane. There's also another show I really like this season, kind of like a sleeper, low-key underrated. It's Maebashi Witches. So we have episode 12 here, the finale. I really love this show. It's kind of like an idol magical girl show, very wholesome, and it just shows like kind of struggles of teenage girls. It's something you don't really expect. It's an original anime. I just loved how they did the story, where we have this group of like 5 magical girls. Their mission is to kind of like grant the wishes of anyone that comes into their flower shop. So they're like kind of witches in training. They don't really know what they're doing to start off with, but as they kind of like get more confident, get more powers, and kind of like deal with their anxieties, insecurities, and problems, then like they get stronger and they just become friends. So it's like super wholesome at the end. But yeah, I just love the story where like they just deal with body dysmorphia, kind of like dealing with the single parent household, taking care of people, dealing with like social media pressures, likes and followers, and also like creepy internet like people like sending you nudes. Like that was insane. So there's like a lot of like modern problems here, which was interesting. And also like our main character, who's like an annoying girl that just wants to make friends. So all of that was like very unique, just like each character kind of struggling with their personality. But after they just deal with their problems, it's all good. So anyway, yeah, the story's really fun, very well written, just like links everything together with all the girls. And then we had a cool villain as well at the end. So they kind of like resolved the situation peacefully. Everyone's kind of like working on their dreams. There's like an idol aspect to the show where like every episode they kind of sing to someone. But yeah, if you're not into like idol shows, like the actual story is like pretty nice. If you like cute girls doing cute things, if you like seeing girls struggle, like kind of reminds me a bit of Wonder Egg Priority, where we see like all these teenage girls with some problems. But basically, I love this anime, look really nice. Also after that we have another finale. So yeah, Shoshimin, How to Become Ordinary. So this is episode 12. We had 10 episodes before last summer, and then yeah, this is like core 2 technically. So we had a good finale. Everything's like kind of explained and resolved. Basically, Osanai almost gets hammered because, yeah, the nurse is trying to kill Kobato. We get her kind of backstory and explanation, so it's revealed, which is nice. But basically, they try to run away from her. So Osanai kind of just, like, cutely wheels Kobato away, also, like, sprays pepper at the nurse's eyes, and just, like, kind of go up the elevator. Have, like, a horror scene, actually, which was, like, a girl kind of chasing you in this dark building with a hammer. But basically, they run up to the roof. They don't really have a chance to fight her off because, yeah, Kobato's in a wheelchair. So their only choice is to catch her monologuing. Kobato kind of baits her by saying, oh, do I deserve it? Is this what you wanted? So he doesn't even know like why she's trying to target him. So, she gives her kind of villain monologue here, explains the whole deal with like the car accident. So basically, yeah, she did hit Kobato with her car because she saw him hanging out with Osanai on the road. They're like being happy and carefree, and then she's like, bro, you ruined my life. Kobato's like, bitch, I don't know who you are. So basically, she's the sister of the dude that got hit by the car in the last mystery. So she's like the mysterious girl that we didn't see. Like they're kind of tracking down her school uniform. So yeah, like we thought she was a bit irrelevant. Like maybe she was like a girlfriend or something. We realized like that's actually his older sister, I'm pretty sure. So basically they had a strong family bond, but then their parents separated. So the brother is with the dad and the sister's with the mom. And they're kind of secretly trying to get their parents back together. So there's like this whole situation coming up, this whole side story that we didn't know about between them. But basically the problem problem is since Kobato kind of butted in and then just started discovering everything, the girl's identity was also outed. So yeah, her whole plan of getting their parents back together failed. So yeah, it was a bit devastating for her. You know, it's not the end of the world, but so basically she has a grudge on Kobato for like kind of technically ruining her already divorced family. But I guess the big thing that justified it in her mind was that her brother tried to commit suicide after. So she also blames that on Kobato. When she revealed that, I was like, damn, that shit's kind of serious. But then we realized that he's not actually dead. So the way they worded it, I thought, yeah, like he did commit suicide and die. But then, yeah, Osanai actually called him up here. So yeah, that's what she was doing while Kobato was being drugged into hospital the past few episodes. Basically, they track down the brother and then he shows up at the right moment. They don't really call the cops. They call the brother to kind of like talk down the sister. And then, yeah, we see that like he's walking with the cane. He doesn't want to see her like this. They kind of like a wholesome wrap up as they like talk her down. I liked how Kobato and Osanai kind of also, you know, reunited again. So yeah, she was like, you're my backup. You're like the next best thing if I don't find anyone. So that's their relationship so far. They kind of like need each other. They thrive off each other. Very cute dynamic. And you know, we solved this mystery over here, I guess. So it shit kind of got real, but you know, we resolved it. I don't think the police were involved because yeah, I think the girl would get arrested for like attempted murder, drugging a patient, shit like that. But basically, really good season, high quality. I like the cinematic aspect ratio with the black bars. We didn't really see them eating too much food this season. Like we saw Osanai in the cafe sometimes drinking some stuff, eating some cupcake. But yeah, besides that, you know, core 1 was pretty strong. Core 2 continued the story, which was fine. Definitely a unique type of like high school mystery with these two kind of sociopathic kids. And you know, Osanai, she's always scary. Even though she gets into a lot of trouble sometimes, she always gets her revenge at the end of the day. Also, some other shows that finished up, we have Windbreaker. So yeah, season 2, episode 12. Great finale. So yeah, we set up some villains. There's Endo, and then there's this even more evil guy that like Umemiya has never even beaten. So yeah, basically we get some background because Umemiya and the other like 4 kings, they want to warn Sakura about like this evil like kind of antagonist that's kind of like rivaling Bofurin. So basically, yeah, Endo was a part of it and a lot of other people from Bofurin. So basically they're kind of setting up Endo as the next villain, I guess, or maybe he might be a later game arc villain. And yeah, we kind of end the season with like some Bofurin backstory. Sakura and the boys kind of hang out, more of Umemiya. And I guess, yeah, nothing else needs to be said. I thought it was a great season. Like some of the episodes were really cinematic with the fight. There were some episodes that were a bit low quality as well. But besides that, I thought the anime did its job. Season 1 definitely was more interesting to me, mainly because of Umemiya. Like no hate on Tsubaki, like he was like pretty cool as well with all his like kind of positivity and then just like guiding people in this like entertainment district area. But besides that, I thought like this season was a bit of like a rehash of season 1 where, you know, we just like find another evil gang, solve the problem, and then just like eat dinner with them. And also, you know, Sakura being a huge Shinra, so yeah, that hasn't changed. But yeah, also, you know, cool fights, great like kind of wholesome brotherhood. So yeah, that's it for Windbreaker this season. Also, we have 2B Hero X episode 12. So yeah, this is not the finale. I think it's gonna have 24 episodes, but a crazy episode. Insane fight actually with Queen and Boa. So like this was a long ass fight with these girls just throwing hands. Insane. I thought it went a bit too long, but I'll talk about it. Also, yeah, story-wise, so yeah, we see they're kind of like rehashing the Cyan stuff of her just like being like kind of negative in the media and just like bringing bad luck to people. So we see Queen, she's kind of like moping in her room, but then she realizes that she has to help Cyan. So she helps her kind of uncover the truth, which was nice. And yeah, she kind of goes on a redemption arc. But yeah, before that, she gets attacked by Boa. So we see Boa has like some fear points like unlocked. So now she's just like super evil and super powerful now. And she's on a revenge tour because she sees that Queen is actually the daughter of the orphanage owner. So yeah, basically Boa thinks Queen is a Nepo baby, which she kind of is. But at the same time, you know, she's very talented. Like she's very smart at a young age, super powerful, kind of like deserves what she has. So basically Boa thinks that, you know, Queen was using Cyan to like sabotage her and then just like fights Queen. Insane fight. They're fighting in like this outdoor warehouse with a bunch of cranes and crates and stuff and just like smashing into each other, punching, Boa hitting her with the axe. I thought Queen was like dying multiple times. We see bruises in her body and blood as like the fight gets progressively worse. And then yeah, both sides don't want to give in. You know, Queen's super powerful. Like we see her power, she like puts rules onto things, which is similar to Stars and Stripes from My Hero. And yeah, basically she can like control the stuff around her. But basically it has like a limit, so you can like attack her out of like her rule range. And Boa herself is also like super powerful. So a strong muscle lady just like beating Queen. But you know, Queen being like, yeah, I won't be defeated. I'll like stand tall against everyone. I'll be X. And then yeah, insane fight. You do have to watch it. But also at the end, Queen gets super injured even though she beats Boa, but then the X tournament's already finished, so she missed the second X tournament as well. It's not really a big deal, not the end of the world, but yeah, we see like, damn, insane fighting against Boa, like cool kind of character development from Queen. We see little Johnny out there kind of cheering her up, and then she's also getting closer to Cyan. And also, yeah, she's going on vacation now. After she leaves the hospital, her and Cyan are kind of like gonna drive to a beach or something. But yeah, the problem is they get attacked midway. So yeah, I guess there's like a fear point monster or something, maybe, or someone's just like assassinating them. Hopefully things go all right. But yeah, a cliffhanger there, as there's like an insane fight this episode again. Like just like understanding what each character is about, seeing like their journey. After that, just like insane comic book level fights where people are just like smashing each other into objects, like hitting each other and, you know, taking serious amounts of damage. You also have some other finales I'll wrap up really quickly. So there's Slime 300. The season 2 was a bit whatever. It was fine, you know, wholesome. But that was a bit lower quality than season 1. I thought season 1 was very unique. Also, story-wise, was like season 1 brought the like kind of parody isekai style a bit better, where they were just like mimicking like real world stuff. I think this finale, like this final episode, kind of like encompasses my problem with season 2, where it's not really like a bad thing, but it's just like a rehash of season 1. So yeah, there's like more characters out here. They're just doing the same coffee shop gimmick again. They don't even comment on it. And, you know, just like the same characters showing up, all the Demon Lord people, and all the other like kind of massive cast of characters that hang out with Azusa. So anyway, yeah, just anime's like very wholesome, cures your soul. Great openings and endings. So yeah, I mean, I like the season. But story-wise, like if I compare it to season 1, just like season 1 felt like a lot more unique. So again, I thought it was a bit repetitive, but it's still like super wholesome anime. So if you did like season 1, you know, season 2 is worth watching. Also, after that, we have a new isekai that finished up. So it's I'm an evil lord of an intergalactic empire. This one was super funny. I liked it. You know, I said it has Eminence and Shadow vibes. But like the main character, he's a bit edgy. He wants to be a villainous. He wants to be evil. But, you know, things are working out. Like, things are actually good. So his kingdom is just, like, so prosperous. He defeated all the pirates, super rich. Saved all these other girls before. So, yeah, all that's going on. But then, you know, the only girl in his eyes is this AI waifu that was with him day 1. So she's there kind of helping him. Like, I just thought, like, the anime was super funny and enjoyable to watch. Like, it is super repetitive if you don't like isekai. But, yeah, since I finished it, this one kind of stood out for me. I also love the ending song of this anime. It's like a bop. So I do listen to that every week. And besides that, kind of like a batshit crazy anime where just like everything seems to work out for a main character, which is like pretty funny. Also, we have Gundam GQuuuuuX episode 11. Insane episode, honestly. I think this is where like the story kind of escalates, where we see Char, finally he's back. We saw him introduced like earlier, like the backstory of him where he disappeared. Now I'm confused where he came from. He had like this huge like magical girl transformation, which was funny. It's like went from regular army clothes to his like Gundam military outfit, his iconic red outfit. But basically starts off with Neon and Machu fighting. You know, Machu's angry that Neon did the Zek Nova again, and then Neon's like super sick and confused. She doesn't want to fight Machu, but she does. Like hits her with these like homing lasers, but then Machu like kind of like does a quick aerial move and then counters and hits her back. We see Cassilia, so yeah, Char kind of faces off against her. We see Char was like kind of hiding in her army, I guess. That's like a soldier. So yeah, I don't know where he came from, but yeah, he's back. Then Cassilia has like the upper hand, so like has a gun pointed at him, but then they get interrupted by Machu and Neon kind of falling from the roof. So that shit was funny out of nowhere. And then yeah, Char takes that moment to escape with Machu. We see Neon still here, kind of hang out with Cassilia. So all that's going on. We see that Char is also looking for Shuji, the red Gundam, and yeah, I guess they're kind of facing off because of Lala. Char wants to kind of kill Lala, maybe like make her, you know, not be a part of this world anymore because she's suffering. But then Shuji wants to protect Lala. So that's like they're kind of differing in opinion. You also see Machu's kind of running in trying to help them, but then Cassilia tries to shoot Machu, and then Neon actually shoots Cassilia. So yeah, what a crazy plot twist. I mean, Neon kind of fighting back against her oppressor because yeah, she also wanted Neon to like do another Zek Nova. Even though, you know, Neon, she's getting tired of killing so many people. It's taking a mental toll on this girl. So yeah, basically, Neon also runs into her Gundam as Cassilia, like, aims the gun at her for shooting her. And then, yeah, I don't know what's happening, but, you know, teenage angst, plus also Char is back. So, I mean, you know, hype moments in Hora pretty much this episode, which is hype. And, yeah, next week, I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. See what Char and Shuji's going to do. We'll also, like, you know, maybe Macho will play a part at the finale. There's also Once Upon a Witch's Death. So yeah, we have episode 12 to the finale. I like this anime. I talked a bit about it. Last episode was a bit better where, you know, Meg Raspberry, she kind of saved the whole city and then just like became like a hero. So she did all that shit. So yeah, what else is there to do? Well, episode 12 is kind of like the big turning point in this anime, where we see Eldora. So yeah, she's like the Witch of Calamity. And, you know, she looked kind of like mysterious and evil. I didn't think she was maybe that evil, but you know, she's crazy. So yeah, like this anime also, like the world building is kind of interesting, where it's kind of like Planet Earth, where they have like, you know, like Europe, America, stuff like that. But basically Eldora basically bombed Meg's country. when she was younger, and that's where she got the magic poisoning and survived. And that's why like Faust is like adopting her to kind of like, you know, save her. The Eldra did this. Why did she do this? Well, basically Meg's country was oppressing witches, basically killing them. And then they're also like kind of developing weapons to go to war with witches. So in order to save everybody, like it's kind of like a necessary evil, she thought, to just like destroy the whole city, kingdom, whatever, like millions of people dead probably. She's like a whole nuclear bomb all on her own. She targeted the civilians too, like not even like just like the government officials. So yeah, that's there. Like all of Meg's family and like, you know, everyone died. I think the problem is, you know, there's a lot of problems, but basically Eldra is evil. She carries that burden on her. And yeah, I mean, everything's admitted to Meg. So yeah, Meg wants to go journey to the ruins of the kingdom. So yeah, I mean, things seem to have calmed down there, like the magic levels. But yeah, like I don't know what she's gonna see there. But also, this is kind of what I expected for this anime, because I thought it'd be like the Wandering Witch, where our main character kind of travels around to like help people. But yeah, we've been kind of like stuck in like the same area for like a long time. So that's where, like, you know, I guess part 2 or season 2 comes in, where I mean there's not going to be a season 2, I think. I guess if you read the light novel, yeah, you'll see like kind of the journey of Meg again. So yeah, kind of like a cool place to wrap up with. We get some more lore explanation, open-endedness. So yeah, I guess if you're curious, you got to read more. But basically, you know, I like the show, very fun. It was definitely very low quality. So yeah, that was like the only downside. I thought the character interactions were cool. I thought Meg's dialogue was also sick. Very funny, very degen, like the way she talks. So yeah, it flowed really well, her as a main character, kind of interacting with everyone, bringing them closer, and, you know, being very positive. Also, we have Apocalypse Hotel episode 11. Simple episode, but very artistic. It was like so chill, seeing like the mundane life of going on vacation, like barely any dialogue. That shit was art. That like literally maybe one of the best episodes of anime this season. Like there's not much to talk about because like the gist of this episode is basically Yachio's been working too much in the hotel, so Ponko makes her take a vacation day. And also, like, she's just wandering around, just like chill music. And she's walking into like ruined Tokyo. It's like going into the countryside, hanging out with animals, sleeping. And also, she has like a damaged chip in her head as well. So she's also trying to find like a replacement chip, which is also like kind of a big deal, I guess, because like there's like a sense of tension. Oh, if she doesn't find it, well, she'll be okay. Because, you know, this anime is a bit depressing sometimes. But yeah, you don't really want the robots to get damaged. Like basically, she does find like a chip, but it's like corrupted. But she finds another chip from a dead robot that's like a copy of her. So yeah, that was also like very nice. Her kind of sending the robot off, but also yeah, taking the chip. Anyway, yo, insane episode. Like this anime is super unique. Every episode just gives you something new and cool. I think the world is so crazy. The Yashio just like enjoying her vacation, going around Tokyo, and you know everything works out at the end. So yeah, a lot of crazy things as we kind of like finish up another day at the hotel. Yeah, that's it for the anime this week. Thank you for watching. So many finales and, you know, continuations for the next season, which is nice. Witch Watch, I want to see more of it. Very funny. Be Hero X is also like insanely good as well. Apothecary Diaries didn't finish up. We have 2 episodes left, so yeah, waiting for those. And, you know, Fire Force also leaving us with a cliffhanger, so we gotta wait there. But besides that, yeah, this season almost over, so I'll see you next week for the tier list. Thank you for watching. But, you know, anime this season has been pretty fun and chill. Just like, you know, people are saying summer season's gonna be hype. Look out for that. But, you know, spring season has also been like low-key, like really fun.